Guys, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, folks. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday. Got ourselves another update here for y'all. We made a video earlier today kind of breaking things down. We got some new model runs and stuff like that, plus we're going to do a stream here to engage with you guys, and we're going to probably be doing some zip codes at the end of the live stream too. That way we can help you guys out more directly. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good. Let's go ahead and jump our way into it, folks. Going to go ahead and give a warm welcome to Peachy, Freak in the Sheets. We have Lake Effect. We have Josh's. We have Phantom, Samuel, Gabrielli. I think that's how you usually your name. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Misty, Raka, and Josh's. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Of course, everybody else who is here just not chatting. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. So we actually got ourselves a bit of a eventful Thanksgiving. We are talking the potential for snow, not only snow, but severe weather, and a bit of rainfall across the country. It's really the east that's going to be pretty impacted here for Thanksgiving, which, you know, we're not too far off. Actually, Thanksgiving's here in about an hour. Hold on, an hour and a half. Yeah, it'll be a day until Thanksgiving. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see what's up, Josh. What's up, Mark? Man, coming in with a $5 donation off the bat, dude. Thank you. Big shout out. It's pronounced clutch. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Big thank you for the 5. I appreciate your support. So, all right, we're going to start things off here, taking a look at the satellite imagery. Right now, we are actively seeing ourselves a lot of moisture rolling its way across the Rockies currently. We actually are continuing to see a bit of heavy snowfall across the western sides here of Colorado. Also snowing pretty good out there towards Utah. Of course, the continuation of snow out here towards California and those upper elevations here. We've been seeing a ridiculous amount of snowfall out here. We've had that atmospheric river just continuously bombarding the region here with, you know, moisture and all of that stuff. And, you know, there's been a lot of rain on the lower elevations, a lot of snow in the upper elevations. It's been pretty rainy and snowy out here overall. So we actually do have a little bit of snow up north, too, out here by North Dakota, a little bit of Montana. Got a little bit of snow showers, not a whole lot of anything crazy going on. A bit of moisture, a little bit of rain, maybe some snow showers by Iowa, Illinois. Then we are having that one storm pretty much out of here by now that we've been monitoring for the last little bit, too. Just a little clipper system kind of, you know, working its way off there overall. But other than that, not really a whole lot going on. But that's going to change, obviously, as we work our way down in time. So I'm going to go ahead and start off here with the severe weather risks overall. So tomorrow, it's not just for Thanksgiving, but also tomorrow we have a risk for severe weather. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be the possibility for all hazards, including tornadoes tomorrow. The good news is that it's a relatively low-end risk, but it's still a risk for all hazards. So tomorrow, a little bit of severe weather is possible here in the dark green. The light green just represents, where we could get a couple of thunderstorms. Not necessarily anything severe in the light green, but the dark green, we could get a couple of isolated severe thunderstorms. So we will have to watch out there for severe weather tomorrow. This does include portions of like northeastern Louisiana, a lot of central portions of Mississippi, central Alabama, and so forth. We do have ourselves quite a bit of those regions out there between Alabama and Mississippi that's in the risk here overall. So I do want you guys out here, for tomorrow to monitor this, as we could get ourselves a little bit of severe weather here. There's our tornado risk. We have a 2% chance for tornadoes. Once again, it's not the end of the world. Everything will be fine. Just make sure that you guys are monitoring the weather. There could be a couple isolated tornadoes. We could get a tornado or two tomorrow, across between Mississippi and Alabama. So that is possible. Also, hail. We got a 5% chance out there for hail. Possibly seeing some hail about quarter size. We'll see if anything gets a little bit higher than that. But between 1 quarter or 1 inch in diameter and 1.5 does seem to be possible. So between 1 and 1.5 inches in diameter is kind of the hail we are expecting for tomorrow. Possibly. It's a relatively low wind threat. And then, of course, our wind threat, we do got a 5% chance here as well for the possibility of some damaging wind gusts, possibly up to right around 60 miles an hour or so. Let's see here. What's up, Grace? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Mark says, I remember that like button. You also. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it, man. Once again, big shout out goes to Mark for the support on the beginning of the stream. I really appreciate you, dude. Thank you for the help. So just, a little bit of severe weather possible tomorrow. As of now, I don't think we're going to need coverage on tomorrow. It's just relatively a low-end threat tomorrow. So you guys just monitor out there in Mississippi, Alabama. But other than that, it's going to be a relatively low-end threat. Now we work our way into Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving has a pretty darn big risk area. Still a level 1 threat. But you can see this. We actually have a pretty large marginal risk out there. We're talking like central, eastern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, northern Florida, most of Georgia, all of South Carolina, and a lot of central, eastern North Carolina, even in the risk out there for some severe storms, as we are seeing that cold front roll its way through the region here overall. So we're going to need to look out there for that, as obviously we will be having the shot for severe weather continuing into Thanksgiving overall. So we'll definitely need to be monitoring this. Let's see here. Anthony says, any chance for a good snowfall in the next few weeks for central Ohio? So as of right now, central Ohio, I don't want to burst your bubble, man, but it doesn't look like we're going to get anything significant anytime soon for central Ohio. However, I do want you folks out there along the Great Lakes side of Lake Erie, really just eastern Lake Erie out here, for northeastern Ohio, like northwestern Pennsylvania, western New York State, also out here by like western Michigan. These areas here. Basically in this region and over here, after the system rolls through, we're going to get probably a pretty good amount of lake effect snow, because what's happening here is the Great Lakes, they're still relatively warm, and we're going to have some really, really sharp cold air rolling over the Great Lakes, which is going to start those snow generators, and we're going to be getting a lot of heavy snow across some of those coastal areas. So we're going to need to watch out there for that. We'll keep you guys posted on that. But for now, we're going to focus on the Thanksgiving storm overall, but that will be something soon to follow shortly after that system does roll through here. But yeah, for central Ohio, honestly, I hate to burst it to you, man, but probably not going to really see anything super, super crazy over there. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to hop to the models. We got a few things we do need to discuss here. So let's go ahead and jump on over. Actually, we have the Zero Zulu GFS coming out right now. It's not available quite yet, so we'll go to the 18s, the previous run, but the latest full run that we got. So, nothing's really changed since our video, if you haven't been here for our video. So basically what's going to happen here is we do have ourselves a low-pressure system that is starting to develop along the eastern side of the Rockies, which is getting ready to cross its way into the southern plains. So as we approach our way towards tomorrow afternoon, you guys can see the time in the top right here if y'all want to look. So this is right around tomorrow afternoon. And as we approach our way here for tomorrow afternoon, we will be getting this low that's going to start to develop here. And then we're going to start to get a bit of moisture being kicked up from the Gulf of Mexico, which is going to allow for the rain to really kind of start here for early Thanksgiving, which Thanksgiving is the 28th here. So as we approach our way into the morning, just slightly after midnight here for the 28th, we're going to start to get a good amount of rainfall, possibly falling out there by like the Tennessee Valley, portion of the Ohio Valley, and like honestly out here in the Ohio Valley around this time, for the late 27th here for tomorrow into early 28th, we could start to get a bit of snow developing. Possibly out there by like Indiana, Ohio, out there by Pennsylvania, and so forth. So that's kind of when the models here are starting to suggest that winter weather starting. It'll probably be for the late 27th into the early 28th overall. Then we approach our way into the later morning, right around sunrise roughly. And then we start to get that snow that continues off across areas out there in Ohio, Pennsylvania, starting to work its way up here towards New York State around that time roughly. Remember, this is the GFS model. This is the long-range American model. And then, of course, as we approach away for right around noon, the snow should be out of Ohio, but still potentially snowing out there towards Pennsylvania. Some of those upper elevations in West Virginia could be snowing at this point, too. New York, some of those interior New England states, like Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe Massachusetts. Once again, I was mentioning this earlier in my video today. These coastal areas here, probably just going to be dealing with rain. The problem is that, the temperatures are just going to be too warm. I mean, even for the areas that's getting snow, if we take a look at the temperatures underneath, yeah, look at this. I mean, our temperatures are above freezing. So, honestly, when it comes to, like, heavy accumulations and stuff like that on the roadways, it's probably not going to want to stick. It could be just a bunch of slush and all that mess. But for the grassy areas, it will tend to stick a little bit better. So, we'll get to the accumulations and stuff like that because, the Northeast actually could see a decent amount of snowfall overall. But, yeah, temperatures will be slightly above freezing more than likely as that snow and stuff like that does fall. So then, of course, we approach our way here towards kind of the evening of the 28th, right around sunset, a little bit after sunset, actually. At this point in time, the snow is going to be heading out of Pennsylvania, kind of starting to taper off and throughout New York State. Still coming down pretty good, probably towards Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And then, of course, as we approach our way here for the morning of the 29th, that snowstorm should roll through. Here's where there's another problem. Like I mentioned, that lake effect's going to be an issue straight after that system rolls through. So like I mentioned, what's going to be happening here is, the Great Lakes are still relatively warm. This cold air that's coming down from Canada on the backside of this frontal system here is going to be driving a lot of cold air over the warm Great Lakes, which is going to condense. We're going to be getting a lot of snowfall piling up out there towards the coastal areas. So, like I mentioned, northeastern Ohio, towards Cleveland area should probably monitor this pretty closely. Northwestern Pennsylvania, western sides here of, New York State really needs to monitor this, as I really do think that we could be ponding quite a bit of snowfall out here. The western side here of Michigan as well will be likely seeing a lot of heavy, lake effect snow as well. So we really could be picking up a decent amount of accumulations overall. And you can see that, that lake effect could be lasting several days. The models here kind of have that ending roughly around December 3rd. So this could be multiple days worth of snowfall. But yeah, take that lightly, though. But it's very... it's a little concerning to me, honestly, with that lake effect potential. So there could be a lot of snow involved with that. Now the Euro, yeah, as we were mentioning earlier, yeah, Euro actually, I believe, takes the system a little bit stronger than the GFS does. According to Euro, as we approach our way here towards, basically the Later morning, according to Euro, there's not much snow for Ohio. In fact, actually, most of it's going to be remaining rain, while the GFS, as we were just looking at here, does show more of a snowy rain mixture. The European model shows just pretty much basic rain. So that's that. But it does show that snow starting to kick up here, kind of for the kind of the mid morning roughly. A little bit of snow out there towards like northern Pennsylvania, towards like New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then of course that snow does pick up to be more heavy, especially in those upper elevations there as we approach our way into kind of the late afternoon into the early evening overall. And then that system should be out of the country basically by the morning of the 29th. But there you go. There's that lake effect again. That's going to be a potential problem, for some of these areas out here. So we'll definitely watch it very, very closely. Could Cleveland really get a couple of feet from lake effect? So the totals, they're not out yet. Obviously lake effect is pretty difficult to forecast because the wind direction and stuff like that is a really big, crucial role. So, whenever it comes to it, I'll actually go ahead and show you guys the 72-hour expected snowfall. So what I'm about to show you guys is how much snow we're expecting within the next 72 hours. This does not take into consideration the other days after that, because, post 72 hours, we're still going to be seeing lake effect snow. So this does not take into consideration all of the snow that we're going to be seeing. But what you're about to see here is the expected snowfall through the next 3 days here. So let's go ahead and hop our way back over here, y'all. So this is the map. This is how much snow we are expecting out there. So like I mentioned, areas out there along the western side of Michigan will be seeing a bit of lake effect snow here as well. You folks out there, towards the southwestern side, remember, this is the next 72 hours worth of snowfall. We could be picking up maybe 2 to 4 inches or so. Locally higher amounts cannot be ruled out. This really also kind of applies to the northern side. Now, according to the overall, expectancy with snowfall, there could be some local higher amounts. We're talking possibly, a couple more inches in some local areas here up on the northern side of Michigan. So generally, 2 to 4 inches of snow with locally higher amounts will be possible overall. So we will have to look out there for that. Now, for the folks out here towards like northeastern Ohio, towards Cleveland, we could pick up a couple of inches here. Out there by like Ashtabula area, could pick up a decent amount at some point. Remember, this does not take into consideration all of that lake effect. Okay, this is basically just the the expectancy over the next 3 days, in which that lake effect will continue past the 3-day marker. Okay, so yeah, northwestern portions of Pennsylvania. Still really could see a decent amount of snowfall out here. Out there towards like Pittsburgh, honestly, really not going to see much. You'd be lucky if you get a couple tenths of an inch, honestly. Nothing for like Philadelphia area. Scranton, could pick up an inch maybe if you're lucky. Out there by like Gailton, a couple of inches. Kane, a couple of inches. More like 2 to 4 inches in this region here. So we'll definitely look out for it. Now, New York State, a good amount of snowfall, could occur out there towards New York State. Some local amounts could be pretty hefty, especially in the northern side here of New York State. Out there by like Boonville, we could pick up, possibly a good 3 to 6 inches or so, with locally higher amounts being quite likely, actually. This little area here always tends to get quite a bit of snow for some reason. Something with the geography, I believe, which, allows for that area to get a little bit more. I typically do see that area getting a lot more than some of these other surrounding areas. Especially those upper elevations and stuff like that, could be dealing with, a decent amount of snowfall out there towards like, Vermont, New Hampshire, and stuff like that. Locally high amounts in some of those upper elevations and stuff. But generally speaking, probably a good 3 to 5 inches or so for a lot of these folks out here towards Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, kind of the same thing, probably more towards like 3 to 6 inches overall. So that's that. Now, like West Virginia, we're going to be getting a bit of snowfall in those upper elevations. Not as much as we previously saw, with the last little system that rolled through. We might pick up an inch or so in some of these areas if you're lucky. Really not a whole lot expected in the next 72 hours for those regions there overall. So With that being said, I mean, some areas definitely could be picking up quite a bit of snowfall. Once again, it's not going to be a crazy, crazy system here regarding, heavy, heavy snow accumulations for the majority of the area, but it's enough to allow for, White Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Some areas, like I mentioned, could actually pick up, a decent amount locally. And stuff like that. But, it's really that lake effect after Thanksgiving that I think we're going to really need to look out for, as I think that could be a really big issue for some folks out there. But we'll keep y'all posted with all of that. So that's that. That's just kind of what the overall expectancy is here. We're going to hop our way back over here to the models again. This time, I want to take a look more at the individual runs. Obviously, it's good to see the models and kind of what they agree on. Let's see if we can pull up the Mid-Atlantic. I think that pulls up a decent view of generally where we could see some of that snowfall. So yeah, the GFS here, suggests that snow starting to fall early Thanksgiving there. And, of course, as we approach our way into kind of the afternoon, pulling out of Ohio, still snowing out there towards, like, Pennsylvania, New York State and all. And then, of course, whenever it comes to it here for the Northeast, for coastal Northeast here, yeah, you guys, unfortunately, are not going to be seeing any snow out of this because it's just going to be too warm. You guys are right next to the water here, which is still relatively warm, keeping the air around it pretty warm itself. You're not going to see any winter weather, but the interior portions of New England, that's where the snow and stuff like that's going to be at overall. Let's see here. Could Toronto see any snow this week? So Toronto, we don't really cover Toronto too much, but it doesn't look like Toronto is really going to see a whole lot according to the official forecast here for the next 72 hours. So that's the GFS here. Let's go and hop our way over here back to Euro. So the European model here, like I mentioned, really kind of holds from that snowfall out there in Ohio. Maybe a little bit of a wintry mix according to the ECMWF Euro. But it does show, a decent amount of snowfall kicking off here for, the Northeast, the inner portion of the Northeast. This timing is right around the afternoon of Thanksgiving. And as we approach our way to the afternoon of Thanksgiving, we could be dealing with a pretty decent amount of heavy snowfall out there towards, like, northern Pennsylvania, throughout portions of, like, New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and, portions of Maine, especially later on, as we approach our way into the later portion of Thanksgiving, into the early 29th, we will be seeing some pretty heavy snowfall, likely falling across, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, before kind of rolling out here for, the early portion of the 29th. Here overall. And then, like I mentioned, that lake effect snow could be persisting for several days, which, that would be pretty problematic. For some of those folks out there along the coastal areas of, like, northeastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, and, like, western sides here of New York State, you guys are going to be in that lake effect concern. And even with, like I said, the GFS going back here to the lake effect, as the system rolls through, the models, they're on sync here. They're all in sync for the most part, kind of suggesting, a pretty good amount of snowfall falling, because of that lake effect overall. So, we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. We could pick up quite a bit here. We're going to take a look at the models. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I would not trust this too much. According to GFS here, as that lake effect snow rolls through, I mean, we could seriously pond quite a bit. We're going to go up to the third. We're not going to go any further than the third. That's a little far out. But, yeah, you can see some of these areas, I mean, how much snow we potentially could be dealing with here. It could be well over a foot in some areas. I mean, seriously, going to be quite snowy up in some of these regions here. And once again, the big areas here that we're going to have to really pay attention to is, northeast Ohio, out there near Cleveland, northwestern Pennsylvania, and, like, western sides here of New York State. I mean, we're going to have to keep a close eye out there for that, as we could see maybe upwards of 2 or so feet in some areas, could be possible. Now, the Euro ECMWF here, when it comes to the snowfall and everything like that, going up here to the third, Same thing. There really is no difference from what the GFS and the Euro has to say. Actually, Euro showing a little bit more snowfall than what the GFS does, but the same overall idea is there. Is that we're going to be seeing a lot of heavy lake effect in that general region here. Now, for the folks out there by like the the western side here of Michigan, like we were mentioning, actually, yeah, Michigan's going to be dealing with a bit of lake effect here as well. Up here to the third, and you can see we are expecting, a good amount of snowfall out there, especially for the northwestern, kind of northern side here of Michigan. You guys probably could pick up several inches, and if not, a feet or a foot or so, cannot be ruled out. Euro suggested that here's the GFS regarding the region here too, up to the third, which we're right at the third now, and same thing basically plays off. Maybe a little bit less according to GFS. It seems like the GFS model is being a little bit, honestly, a little bit lower than what the Euro is suggesting. Now, arguably. Euro is known to be one of the most accurate models. I've seen it fairly accurate with snowfall. I think Euro does best at snowfall. But, you can't really be biased towards one model. You got to take all of them into consideration. But and what they do agree upon is that lake effect threat, for western Michigan and some of those areas out there in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State. So we'll definitely look out for that. Let's see here. Severe thunderstorms Thursday morning. Like we mentioned here, we do have a severe weather threat for Thanksgiving. The areas in the dark green here is at risk for a little bit of severe weather. So there's no breakdown right now per SPC for Thanksgiving Day. Later tomorrow, we will have that available for you guys. But, overall, it is a pretty big risk area here. I mean, we're talking portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina potentially at risk here for severe weather. And I think some of the main concerns is going to be like damaging wind gusts and all of that fun stuff. So it's not necessarily just a bit of snow, but there's also a bit of severe weather involved here as well that we're going to have to look out for. Which for Thanksgiving, I'll try to do some coverage. I probably won't be able to do a whole lot because obviously it's Thanksgiving and everything like that. But I will try to go live for Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving for you guys in order to give you guys live updates and everything like that as things go on to help you guys, especially for the people who's traveling and stuff like that. It could be a bit of a problem. Let's see here. What is up? Hold on. What is up? What are we looking at for tomorrow? So tomorrow, we do actually have a bit of severe weather as well expected out here towards like Mississippi and Alabama in general. Tomorrow, we actually do have a tornado threat, like we mentioned, a low-end tornado threat. An isolated tornado or two can't be ruled out tomorrow. In terms of hail, a little bit of hail possible, up to about quarter size, and a little bit of gusty winds could be possible here as well, up to like 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts or so out of some of those storms. So, nothing really too crazy for tomorrow. It's the same threat for Thanksgiving, like I said, but just much larger, covering a lot bigger of an area. A good 3 times the size or so. It's quite a big area here that's at risk for Thanksgiving. So we're going to have some severe weather being quite likely, honestly, for Thanksgiving, considering how big this area is in general. And, of course, our snow threat and stuff like that. Now, also, another thing is that there's going to be some ridiculously cold temperatures with this, too. Especially up north, man, out there towards like the northern plains and like North Dakota and some of those folks out there. It's gonna get cold, y'all. It's gonna get real cold. So if we take a look at that real quickly, we're gonna hop you guys over here back to we'll look at Euro here. So the European model really suggesting a lot of cold air down coming through overall. And what you can see, this is for the morning of the 30th. You can actually see out there by the Ohio Valley, Euro suggesting 20s and maybe some areas in the teens. But yeah, it gets pretty brutal up there towards like North Dakota and like Minnesota, where we could be sub-zero in the negatives here. This is for the 30th. That's pretty wild, dude. That's pretty wild. Northeast here in the 20s as well. We continue to work our way down in time here. It really could get pretty deep here for right around the 2nd. For the morning of the 2nd, I was also noticing the GFS suggests this as well, that we could be breaching into the 30s up in Florida, like northern Florida and so forth. It's going to be pretty cold. And then looking at the GFS here perspective, that model run's not done yet, so let's hop to the 18 Zulu. But yeah, here for the 2nd, the morning of the 2nd here, you can see how deep that freezing line gets, which the freezing line's right there on that little red line, right where the blue is. All the blue here, this is all freezing temps. These are above freezing, but that freezing line gets right there to the Gulf Coast. It's going to be very, very cold. That's for the morning of the 2nd here for December 2nd. But yeah, once again, up there towards like the northern plains, like North and South Dakota, dude, it's going to be cold. Very, very cold. Single digits in some areas, if not negatives. Very, very chilly. Samuel says hail 2%. No, hail 5% chance out there. There is no 2% hail threat. Kim says it looks like here in Michigan, see, we might be pretty lucky not get down that low. Oh, you talk about the temperatures? Yeah. Now snowfall, y'all are gonna get a little bit of snow. It's also gonna get pretty cold though out there in Michigan, not necessarily in the sub-zero range, but it will definitely get a little bit chilly for some of these days out here. Nights are gonna be getting pretty cold. Basically, from here on out, it's gonna be fairly right around the freezing point. You're going to get a lot of 20s and then stuff like that. Could get pretty low here, especially for the early portion of next month. That's it's definitely going to get pretty cold for next month. And if we take a look here back at this view, in terms of, let's see, we're gonna bring y'all over here. So in terms of like the overall outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, look how we're going to see some cold temps. This is for basically the early portion of December. The Climate Prediction Center was saying that, the central and eastern side of the U.S. is going to be extremely cold, especially the far east, out there in the Tennessee, Ohio Valley, the mid-Atlantic, portions of the southeast here. It's going to be much, much colder than normal for the beginning portion of December. It's going to be very, very chilly. Now, the opposite in the west, though, it's going to be a bit more warm out here, towards the folks in the west. Really, really not a lot of anything cool out there. It's going to be the opposite, a little bit warmer. But yeah, really the east is going to get hit pretty good. And also around this time, regarding precipitation for early next month, it looks to be fairly dry. Finally, we're going to get a little bit more drier conditions in the west here. We've been dealing with a lot of precipitation over the last several days out here, but a lot of the central U.S. and the Midwest, the Ohio Valley Southeast, and the Northeast is going to be fairly dry. South out there by Texas could be getting a bit more precipitation than usual. Maybe a little bit up there towards the north, maybe a little bit more precip than typical. Then through the days 8 to 14 here, this is pretty much showing the exact same thing here. This is just more of early December. Still pretty dry across the central U.S. here, and a little bit of precipitation down south and a little bit up north, but yeah, really not a whole lot different. But then the temperature-wise, same thing again. Same thing again. The east is going to be pretty cold. West is going to be very warm for the early portion of next month. So the west warm, the east cold, and the central dry, and then, the southern side a little bit more precipitation. Northern side as well. It's kind of the overall climatology, the climate outlook here for kind of what we're expecting here overall. Let's see here. We're kind of used to it. We're in Michigan. We've been pretty fortunate up till now. Looking forward to it though. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna get pretty cold, and we're not even in winter yet. So it's oh great, we're pretty cold for this time of the year actually. Especially with the system rolling through. I mean, shoot, it's late November, and we're getting potential temps in sub-zero range here, up in North Dakota and stuff. It's pretty wild, dude. Pretty wild. Let's see here. So lake effect, those temperatures up there are going to be basically slightly above freezing. We're going to be probably lower to mid 30s for Thanksgiving out there. All right, sounds good, Samuel. Thanks for joining, man. Let's see here. Frankie says hi from Shawnee. Is that how you say it? Shawnee County, Florida. What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we're gonna get some cold temps here in Florida too. I'm out here in Polk County. It's already been. You could tell that it's changing. Seasons have changed already. But yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna be getting some pretty cold temps for early next month, which we've already kind of been feeling, especially at nighttime. 40s and 50s the last couple nights. Yeah, little. You guys up north are probably like, oh, that ain't nothing. Trust me, we feel it. We feel it pretty good down here. So your guys' 20s is like, or sorry, your guys' 40s and 50s is our 20s and 30s. It's crazy. I grew up north. I lived in Virginia a lot. I got used to the cold temps, and I've been down here the last 3 winters, and it's like, I can't even deal with that cold temps up there anymore. It's just, I've adapted, So, anyways, let's see here. I'm lurking /Y. Yeah, you're good, Peachy. You're good. But, yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know. We will be doing some zip codes here, too, if you guys want me to take a look at your all zip code. So if you don't know how this works, basically I'm just going to let you know what you might be in store for regarding snowfall and stuff like that. I will be doing the overall expected snowfall through the next 72 hours for your areas. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So basically, if you guys want me to take a look at your zip code, we're just going to be looking at the expected snowfall throughout the next couple of days and stuff like that. So once again, for you guys, I want to go ahead and show y'all before we do that. Once again, this is the overall areas that's going to be seeing that snow for from now until 72 hours from now. So it's the next 3 days or so. The Northeast out there going to see a good amount, and once again, we're going to be picking up quite a bit of snowfall out there for for the lake effect areas. Northeast Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, and western sides here of New York State. It's going to be pretty. Pretty snowy up in some of those regions there overall. So that is that. But yeah, if you guys wanted me to do zip codes, feel free to throw them down, and if not, then we're probably gonna head off here fairly soon afterwards. Just wanted to hop on here for a little bit, give you guys another little update here before everyone went to bed and stuff like that. Let's see here. All right, Robin wants me to take a look at 44601. So 44601. Also, Toronto. So cool. Toronto's not going to really see much from what I saw through the next 3 days at least. Maybe a little bit to the north, but yeah. So for this area out here towards Alliance, Ohio, this region actually is going to be dealing with a little bit of snowfall. I'd say between a half an inch and an inch of snow is going to be possible. You're not going to see a whole lot. Areas slightly to your north, though. Once that lake effect snow starts building in, you guys are going to be probably dealing with quite a bit of snowfall. Now, for you, honestly, yeah, you're probably not going to be seeing a whole much of anything out there. But you could see a little bit of snow falling, for early Thanksgiving. And like I said, the timing wise and everything like that, it seems like a lot of that snowfall is going to be out by the later portion of the morning. We'll go ahead and overlay the models here. This is the NAM 3 kilometer, which you can see, some of the snow kind of exiting here by the later morning. This is right around 10 o'clock a.m. or so. You can see that. Snow starting here, fairly late on the 27th here. Could be just a bunch of, snow and rain mixture and stuff like that. But, that's what we got going on there. You can kind of see the timing here, which I should see if I think I can overlay this for you guys. Nope, that didn't work. Never mind. All right, so basically, yeah, for the early part of Thanksgiving, at this point in time, we're going to be seeing that snow possibly rocking through Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State and so forth. Before the later morning, right around noon or so, all that snow kind of being pushed out of Ohio, kind of slowing down out there towards Pennsylvania, New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then of course by the later portion of Thanksgiving, all that snow leaving New York State, starting to slow down in Vermont, New Hampshire, and then it should be out of Maine basically by the morning of the 29th overall. So that's that. But alrighty, everybody. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I just want to go live here for a little bit, not necessarily a full hour-long live stream, but I just want to hop on here for a little bit, just to hang out with y'all, let you guys know what's going on with everything. Tomorrow, I'm gonna make another video for you guys. We will do that tomorrow. Make sure I have a video out for you guys, probably around 2:00 p.m. or so. So we'll make sure to do that for y'all. If you guys do enjoy this, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated, and share this to your friends and family. Help everybody out, with the channel and stuff like that. If you guys could share that, we can help you guys out and help keep you guys weather, aware, and prepared, and all that stuff. But alrighty, everybody. Well, once again, thanks for joining us. I appreciate y'all. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. The stream's gonna head off here in approximately 1 minute. So if you guys do want to go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat, go ahead and do so, my friends. And alrighty, everybody. Once again, thanks for joining. You guys take care, and we'll see you guys later on. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all in the next one.